When you think of a Les Paul style guitar, I think most people, the first thing that comes to mind will be that lovely carved top. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I carve the top on any Les Paul style guitar, taking it from this flat, square, blocky shape to a nice, carved, finessed, tasteful shape. Now, as with most things, there is an order of operations that you kind of need to do things in. So first of all, I've actually done my angle into the body here. You don't quite need to have done that, but it definitely helps an awful lot for the carving process. You'll also notice I've done all of my routing. I've got my neck pocket in, I've got pickup and everything in there, and I've done my back cavity as well, because it's easier once everything is still square and flat. As well as all of that, I have done a channel around the entire perimeter of the guitar, except for in here, which stops 6 millimeters above the glue join between the body and the top. This channel is going to act as my depth stop. I'm going to make sure that I don't carve into that channel at all during the carving process, and that's going to ensure that I've got a nice, even, consistent edge around the perimeter of this guitar. So that's all of the prep that you need to have done, and after that, well, we can just basically jump straight into the carving process and start laying things out. Okay, so for laying out the carve, there are two lines that I start off with. First of all, I'm going to come about as close as I can to each pickup, dipping in just a little bit in the middle, like that. I'm just going to draw this on in that kind of a shape, trying to make them more or less equal on both sides, symmetrical. And then I'm going to draw around the bridge posts, something that looks a bit like that. And this, I'm just going to ignore it, leave that side off to do whatever it wants to do. So this first initial line that I draw is going to be, I don't want to say the flat spot that's going to be on the top of the guitar, because there isn't going to be a particularly flat spot. But this is going to be my line of no return. And in fact, I want to bring it up a bit more here. But this is going to be my safe zone, where I'm going to, for the most of the carve, ignore it. It's going to be this line, not that. So I'm going to try and stay outside of this line exclusively, especially when I'm using the angle grinder. I'm not going to touch this line. After that, I'm going to space out between here and here, approximately a fifth the whole way around. Obviously it changes at different parts of the body. As you can see, this can all be quite rough. I'm using a blunt pencil, which is exactly what I kind of want for this. And this line is going to be my first carve line. Now, this looks like a bit of a mess, but it does, well, make sense. And this is kind of all we need at this stage. A mess is perfectly fine. And the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a facet between this line that I've just drawn and about a millimeter, which I'll estimate, above my depth stop line. So I can take this same blunt pencil, just put it in the channel like so, and that is going to give me my first facet line. Now, I find it helpful as well to imagine the carving process as a three-step thing. So starting off, we have our body, which is nice and square, like this, with a little step down here. And then our glue joint is there-ish. And what I've marked, if this is the center of the guitar, I've marked my no-go zone, and then I've come out approximately a fifth, and I've marked my first carve line. And we're going to just create this facet and remove everything in between. For the second phase, we've got our flat spot still in the middle with our center line, our danger, and now our first facet. We have the facet itself. We have about a millimeter left there, down to our depth stop. And again there, is that. We're going to come approximately 2/5 up, so just slightly off center, and then we're going to center a carve like this around that point. And we're going to remove that, essentially scooping the carve. And then finally, again, there's our center, our safety, and the beginning of our facet. It comes down a little bit as a little bit of a scoop, down 1 millimeter to our depth stop, and there's the edge of the guitar, and there's our glue join. And now what we're going to do is we're going to basically ignore that facet line. We're going to use this to smooth everything out like this. And we get a nice kind of an S carve. That should be a bit more up like that. There we go. A nice S carve like that. And so, if we come down here, what we end up with is, there's our center line, our safety is there, that's more or less flat, and we should have something that curves down and over. And I've put this in an awful place, but then there's our millimeter of a gap, which is a massive millimeter now because I forgot to draw properly. And there's our glue join. And we should get this nice, gentle S-curve kind of shape. One big pitfall to watch out for here is having this corner going too far up here. It gives it a very scooped shape like this. You want to avoid that. That becomes quite difficult to consolidate into a nice gentle curve. So at this stage, you need to be careful. The lowest point of this shouldn't go below the depth stop, but it should be quite close to it. While the scale is off here, it should be reaching down a bit like that. So I'm using a saber tooth bit on this angle grinder, which is just a nice coarse carving bit, and it'll help to remove a lot of material as fast as possible. At times an angle grinder does feel like a strange tool to use for this. It's usually associated, I think, with being quite aggressive and messy of a tool. But if you're very gentle with it and you move it very softly and just kind of stroke the wood like I'm doing here, you can get a very fine finish and you can be very, very accurate and gentle with it. To keep things as flat and accurate as possible, I will be using the angle grinder to effectively aim for the corners that are present on the top. So whenever basically a corner, a peak appears, that's what I'll try and center the angle grinder on, which will flatten it all out. I also do a kind of scrubbing method from the center of the guitar to the outside, and that does help to just straighten things out in that direction. Of course, stopping every now and again and just feeling everything with your hands. Your hands are very, very valuable at this stage of the carving process. I'm really not using a lot of pressure with the angle grinder. I'm almost just allowing the angle grinder itself to rest on the wood. Although even that's not fully true. I'm holding the angle grinder up and I'm almost floating it over the top. So you can see I'm alternating between long passes, feeling the wood, and scrubbing from the center of the guitar towards the outside. These three things really are what make up the key parts of what I'm doing here. And once I can feel that I'm getting pretty close, I'll stop, and I've got a piece of plywood here with one straight edge that will show me how straight I am. After that, coming back in with the pencil, and I'm marking that next point about 2/5 the way from the edge towards my initial carving line. And I'll come in with the angle grinder again with the nose down, trying to kind of center the carving disc on that new line that I've just drawn. You can see how I'm trying to just kind of get in there and just hollow out that facet. Again, extremely light pressure, and I'm going nice and slow and controlled, doing most of the work on the backstroke, but I am doing a little bit kind of when I'm pushing the angle grinder forward. You can also see quite clearly here how close I'm getting to that depth stop that I'd routed earlier. So it's within maybe a millimeter or two. Once I've finished hollowing out that facet, I'm doing this last step where I'm kind of smooshing the whole thing together. So you can see I'm very much going into even that upper line that I called the kind of the no-go zone. It's not a no-go zone now, that's for sure. I just need to get in there and make everything as kind of clean, smooth, nice looking and nice feeling as possible. Very much the same methods as I was doing beforehand, but also getting down nice and low here and just eyeballing everything. It should look quite nice in profile. After the angle grinder, I'm going to move on to the sander here with an 80 grit pad, and this is predominantly to refine that carve with effectively a gentler tool and to start smoothing things out nicely. Getting rid of all the marks from the angle grinder is a priority at this stage. Anything that we do after this should be well beyond the angle grinder marks, because that really was just the rough work. And you can see here I'm still staying shy of that depth stop mark that I had, and I'm really getting in just before the edge of the guitar. You can see how I'm tilting the sander forward and really kind of getting into the scoop of the carve. And these small back and forth motions very, very quickly are what kind of refine everything nicely and make it all kind of smooth and curvaceous. I'm never staying still in one place, and equally I'm just moving the pressure of the sander to kind of get exactly where I want to. There's a bit heavier carving going on in this area, which is why I'm kind of staying as close to the same place. You can see here just how much I'm moving it, how fast I'm moving it. Scrubbing down into the corners or the edges like that, and following up with a nice wide sweeping motion. That makes sure that I'm focusing on the right areas but not neglecting them in reference to everything else. So scrubbing in right there, and I'll kind of sweep after the scrub to just blend everything together. So I'm being quite aggressive really with the sander here. I'm not holding back with anything. And you do constantly have to kind of go back and forth over several places to make sure it's all good. Now, after sanding up through the grits, this is 320, and I'm just getting rid of my depth stop mark. You can see how I'm bouncing into the edge like this, letting the kind of sander follow the path, and you can see just as the pencil gets removed, you have that little shadow line of the router bit, which just disappears with a couple of bounces. And there it is, gone. Big sweeps to smooth everything out, and that's down to the line. After all the sanding, up to 320, I always wet down the wood. This raises the grain, because during the sanding process you kind of tear the fibers and push them down. This allows the fibers to rise back up again, and the idea is you give it another quick sand and you get a really, really nice finish. Plus you get a slight preview of what the wood actually looks like on the guitar, and that's always nice. So I use a damp cloth here, not a wet one. And so after sanding up to 320 grit again, which is going to be my final thickness, this top is pretty much ready to be moved on to the next stages, staining, finishing, whatever else you want to do. But this is basically how you carve a Les Paul top. If you follow these steps, it should all work out pretty well for you. Marking it out and kind of following everything like that pretty generally ends up with a nice consistent result every single time for me. I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you learned something, and I hope it was useful. If it was any or indeed all of those things, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit like on this video, it really helps everything out. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all again real soon.